conversation about artificial intelligence. I think that I'm going to be the last human on earth that has ChatGPT. I have not used it. Sell me on why. How is it different than Google? Why should I use it? I'm going to die on that hill, I believe. Okay, welcome to the show. It's Up and Adams. You know who probably else doesn't use ChatGPT? The guests that I have on the show today, because these are some OGs. They're just like me. They want, the blocking, the old days of being a Pro Bowl tight end, a 19-year vet. Marcedes Lewis is on the show. Is he going on year 20? Where does he want to go? Does he want to stay in Chicago? We want to commute to the Rams facility here out on the West Coast. Deshaun Jackson certainly told me that he wants that for his former buddy, or still buddy. So we'll talk to him then. 19 years is insane, and that makes 13-year vet Lavonte David look like a young pup. And he is on the show today too. One of my faves, all-pro linebacker. What is going on with these Bucs? Longest streak in the NFC when it comes to playoffs. They've hit the postseason 5 years in a row. Why is this year the year that they up it and make it even further? He'll tell us. How you going to do that hockey? We're a hockey show, and let's start there with a little hockey action. It's the postseason. It's a great time to be alive. We've got, of course, the Knicks tonight. We'll get to that. There is a 30% profit boost token on FanDuel for your pleasure between Halliburton, Brunson, and the like. But the Florida Panthers, and we are Florida Panthers fans, not just because of our old friend Darius Butler, who we know and love and hangs out on McAfee now all of the time, as he has for years and years. It is because we have Matthew Tkachuk on the show, the Rat King. And the Florida Panthers, they're headed, congratulations to them, to their third straight Stanley Cup final. We are for them. We are happy for them. And they're one step to becoming back-to-back champions, which we love. We love the lore of that. We love a dynasty. We've had, I believe, Richard, tell me if I'm wrong, we've only had one hockey guest ever on this show, right? Yeah, Matthew Tkachuk is it. I don't really count Chandler Parsons in the world of NBA, like he's part of the FanDuel family. So he's our Kevin Durant in hockey. We are a one-track mind. We are a show for Kevin Durant, and we are a show for Matthew Tkachuk, the lone NHL player to ever be on our airways. I asked him, this guy is a guy who got injured, a guy of greatness, a guy who plays the mental game out there. I asked him about his mindset heading into the playoffs right before he got back from injury. Out of a freaking cannon. You haven't played since February.
Yeah, mentally I am, it will not take me very long, and it will not be very tough for me to get right back into it.
Look at that face. So. I can't freaking wait. Now I'm a huge fan, so I'm going to be watching. I have really high expectations for you, just so we're clear.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. So I can't let those down.
All right, there's Matthew Tkachuk. Panthers play the winner of the Western Conference Finals. Oilers against the Stars are 8 p.m. tonight. Oilers lead the series 3-1. I don't know what the odds are. Somebody tweet me the odds on FanDuel Sportsbook. We do have the Conn Smythe Trophy odds here. Matthew Tkachuk sitting there at plus 1,600. We love to see it. That's where I'd enjoy some fun there. And then, oh man, Connor McDavid. I can pronounce that. Sergei Bobrovsky. Sergei. Alexander Barkov. I like that. Alexander Barkov. Leon Draisaitl. There's a couple missing vowels there, I believe. And then Mikko Rantanen. Mikko, I like those odds for Mikko. Rantanen. Go Matthew Tkachuk. Go Florida Panthers. Maybe in one sentence, tell me what I need to know about the Western game tonight, the Western Conference Final. Oilers Stars, like I said, 8 p.m. tonight. Get to FanDuel Sportsbook and have some fun there. Oilers leading that one 3-1. They can close it out, and they'll be facing those Panthers on the way to a back-to-back Stanley Cup win. And then we'll see who wins the Conn Smythe Trophy. My money is on Rick Cannon. For Cannon off. Okay, let's get to somewhere where I'm comfortable, and that's the NFL, and very comfortable talking about the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm not going to talk about Trey Hendrickson, the latest, by the way, and I'm going to ask Lavonte David about that. I think it's a perfect person to talk to you about what he means to that defense, what that defense would possibly look like without him. The latest this morning that Mr. Trey Hendrickson is dug in on his side. That report coming from ESPN. We'll get to that. I don't want to focus on that this morning. You know how I feel. They need to sign him. They need to get it done. And there's a market for him elsewhere. I'm not going to even get into Shamar Stewart, which, we got to start quick on this team. They got the Browns week 1 on the road. They got the Jags week 2. This team's going to have to get it popping early in the season. Hopefully, it seems Joe Burrow has a fire lit under him. He seems like mid-season form. So I'm excited to see what happens. I'm excited. I'm just going to manifest. I'm excited about them getting the deal done with Trey Hendrickson. As I will just say, we looked up the numbers this morning. I think they were 30th in first down defense, if I'm correct. I think they're 25th in their bottom 7 in like every category defensively last year. And there's a lot of people saying that that's a reason not to pay Trey Hendrickson, because what do those 17 and a half sacks do or defense was still bad? That is absolutely a crazy, like that kind of logic is not, you're not passing the LSATs in any of the 50 states in America with that kind of logic. I do want to focus not on those things this morning. I would like to focus on Jamar Chase and what he had to say after a practice to start the week. And he was asked about how the contract situation from last year affected him in the offseason, where he was still around the facility, he was smiley. How did it affect him into the early part of the year, where there is fair criticism of the Bengals not having the success that we expect to kick things off?
I could say I wasn't mentally ready to be on the field. I was in my own head, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to play, but I was in my own head,
I saw this. And my first thought was, is he trolling us? Like, that can't be, there can be no truth to that. Jamar, get out of here. You put up a freaking triple crown. But then I did think about this, and Hamilton dug into the numbers. And if you take a look at it, it is a little scary to think about, because he did put together a triple crown season. He did get off to a slower start, though, over the first month of the season when you compare it to what he did to close out the year. And these are the expectations he has on himself. The numbers are crazy. He nearly doubled his catches per game after those first 4. He scored over a touchdown a game, 33 more receiving yards per contest. The Bengals also 8-5 over that final stretch, of course, after starting not hot, after starting not great. It's like a broken record, but 1-3. I'm sick of that number. And I like their schedule to start the year. They got to focus on that. It's wild to think, though, just like to give Jamar his love here. It's wild to think that his line for receiving yards on FanDuel Sportsbook is just 1,325.5 for this season. I'm just saying. If he keeps up the pace that he had over the last 3 quarters of 2024, which he's admitting he came out in his head thinking whatever, he'll put up over 1,800 this year, okay? Playing that pace game. Him and Justin Jefferson, right? 1A, 1B, whatever you're gonna say. 1,325.5 is actually disrespectful, I think. He's smashing the over on FanDuel Sportsbook this season. And by the way, future parlays, all the rage right now. Get over to this to FanDuel, and they literally have odds for everything. It is sort of uncanny. Go over there, have some fun. We're going to take a short break here. We have 2 young pups on the show. 2 just modern era Gen Z men TikToking all over the place. We have Marcedes Lewis and Lavonte David up next. Do I have questions? No Hamilton today. I think we wanted to look at some questions. We had one after the Trey, maybe. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Okay, what does the NFC North look like by playoffs? I hate these kind of questions. We don't even have all our players at OTAs. Not everybody showed up yet. We don't even know who the quarterback is of the Steelers. We cannot talk about what the complexion of the league looks like and the playoffs. I don't really have you know how I feel about the Vikings. The Bears, I loved Caleb Williams at the mic. Was it yesterday? Whenever he hit the mic and said, let's get this out of the way. Whoever's like leading him in the supportive PR department. Excellent job. He came, faced it head on, talked about what was, what wasn't, left it in the past. He's not giving second year quarterback. He's going to be ready to go. And he loves Ben Johnson. Remember, this is the guy who showed up with a suit at the intro. All things are pointing up in Chicago. Favorite NFL player interview. My next one with Lavonte David, who I love, who better not be thinking about retiring anytime soon. I can't live in an NFL world where I do not have Luke Kuechly, Bobby Wagner, or Lavonte David. Luke can be retired. These two, we got business. We got them twice last year. I think we got them, Bobby Wagner, Lavonte David, to kick off the season, week 1. And then we got them, of course, in the playoffs. And I bet Lavonte's not happy that he does not get those Commanders on his regular season schedule this year, but they'll meet in the playoffs because they have this crazy streak going. Where is it? Which one? Oh, I don't see the... Oh, got it. Why is Trey Hendrickson not a Packer yet? It's a great question. I asked Mr. LaFleur about it. I asked Matthew what's his real last name? Matthew Robert LaFleur, about this. He said, why wouldn't we want to add more pass rushers? Commanders, Chargers, there's a lot of Lions, there's a lot of teams there's this thought that there's not enough cap space, everybody spent their money. That's the craziest actual shit that I've heard. That's not true. Teams would love Trey Hendrickson. I've already laid out why I think you have to pay him, why I understand why he wants to get paid. And I think the Bengals, I wish they had gotten ahead of it. And by the way, if they pull this off, what a beautiful thing for the Bengals to have now. Jamar Chase, 1,800 yards this year. Which I didn't think would happen. And then to keep Trey, that would be a masterclass.
Lavonte David, the do-everything linebacker.
I'm fearless. Come on down my way. I'm fearless. He's back.
Lavonte David.
Yeah, 'cause there's money to make.
It's intercepted Lavonte David.
Can't escape. I'm fearless.
I wish football was right now, but you probably don't, Lavonte David. You're enjoying your off season before entering year freaking 14. What does that feel like?
What's up, Kay? Thank you for having me. But it feels amazing. It feels great. It feels like an accomplishment, honestly.
Really?
To be able to have the opportunity to play this game 14 years. I never thought I'd be in this position, first and foremost. I thought I'd be long gone by now. But it's here. Thank God. Thank the Bucs for keeping me around. And, it's definitely a blessing.
What do you mean you thought you wouldn't be here? Marcedes is going into year 20. You still got lots of years to go.
I never expected to play this long. I as a young pup, I came in, thinking I'm just come in, learn, get what I got to get out of the game and be gone. I didn't think it was going to go this long. I'm going to be honest with you. But, now that it's here, it's all surreal. I'm embracing it for sure.
What is it? Was it a quick decision to come back this year? And congratulations on re-signing with your Bucs.
Thank you. But honestly, this year probably was quicker than it was last year. Going to year 13, I was definitely mulling over retirement. My body was hurting. I was tired. It was a long season. I felt things I never felt before in my body. I was like, okay, this might be the time where, I really got to consider, hanging it up. And then, this year, what made it easy for me this year was just, the Bucs organization reaching out to me, telling me they wanted me to come back. It's basically saying like, I played an awesome season last year and they wanted me to come back. And, I got home, got a chance to talk it over with family and friends and things like that. And, my mind was made up because I felt like I could still play at a high level too as well. And, now I'm here entering 14.
Who made the best pitch? Who called and was the most convincing?
Honestly, it was just a one-on-one conversation, honestly, with me and Jason. Me and Jason got a great relationship. We are real transparent with each other. Me and Jason been knowing each other for a long time. We got those Nebraska ties and things like that. So, we're real cool, real transparent. He talking to me, he's saying, we want to bring you back, but I understand that where you are at the point in your life, where you at mentally, We want to give you some time to, mull things over and whatever decision you want to make, is up to you. Just know that you got a contract over here waiting for you whenever you're ready. And, just let you know, we want you back though, but we're going to leave the decision in your hands. So that's all the convincing I needed.
I saw Jason at the owners' meetings, and the first thing I said was, like, as I was saying hi to him, giving him a hug, I said, "Thank you for Lavonte. Like, thank you for getting that done." And he goes, and it was just, no chance that wouldn't get done. No chance. And he credited you. I watched the interview this morning to see what he was saying, and just calling you the face of the franchise, the soul. We don't want to do it without Lavonte, but also hearing that, like, you weren't feeling the best. This is a great photo. Look at this photo.
Yeah. That's the parade. That's the Super Bowl parade.
What makes him so special to you? I feel like he doesn't get enough love, and I hate that for him.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, him being a GM, being a GM of an organization, professional organization, you get a lot of hate from different people and things like that. But, my relationship with him, for real, we just, be honest with each other. We're a man in this business, and that's how we approach each other, first and foremost. At the end of the day, it's a business too as well. But at the same time, just have respect for one another and move accordingly. And that's just the relationship that we built throughout the years. When he first came in, it was like my third year in the league, and he actually, did my first deal. So, ever since then, we had that kind of, relationship, that transparency, and just talking, whenever things like this come up and stuff like that. And it's been well ever since.
I love it. And the consistency has been there. 5 straight trips to the playoffs, longest streak in the NFC, third longest streak in the NFL. I know I feel like if I went on the street, like one of those Gen Z TikTokers, and asked people who has the third longest streak after the Bills, I believe, and the Chiefs, it's the Bucs. It is the Bucs. Started with Tom Brady, didn't really lose much of a step after he wins, plays for a year, and then hangs it up. We'll get to all of that. I think it's kind of crazy that you're telling me, like, a year ago, and considering coming back, you didn't feel as good. You feel much better physically now, you're saying, right?
Yeah, physically and mentally.
Okay. I want to show you something.
Yeah.
Because you're saying this, and then it's like, you're almost acting like you survived the year. This is a list here. I wish they didn't pop it up this quick, but look at this. I wanted to put together a list of the players that had 100 or more tackles, 5 or more sacks, and 3 or more forced fumbles. It's just you. You're the only one in the whole NFL, and now you're saying that you weren't even, like, feeling that great? Like, what is it? What is 2025?
I mean, 2025, I'm there. Yeah, I'm good. I'm all in. It was just, coming into last year, just a couple of things that I had to, figure out body-wise. When you first get a little injury or whatever, you don't know how to handle it and things like that. And once you get a grasp of it, you know how to take care of yourself and things like that. That's when you start feeling better. And so now, I'm feeling even more comfortable, even better. So, maybe you'll see better numbers than that. But right now, I'm just, down here, back home, working out, preparing myself for a long season.
Got Atlanta week 1. Is there anything on any game on the schedule that you have circled or that means more to you than the others? You're OG enough to tell me the truth.
Yeah. No, not really. I just think it's a great schedule. It's going to be a lot of competing going on. Some fun battles for sure. I know the past, whatever years we've been playing San Fran, we've been playing the Lions, a lot. So those games be real fun to be a part of. And obviously the division games and things like that. And getting the opportunity to come back home to play. We play in Miami the week of Christmas. So that should be fun. I only got a chance to play here one time already in my career, and this is going to be the second time. So downright there should be cool for friends and family to enjoy.
I can't believe that. I also can't believe that you're starting with Atlanta getting all these primetime games. Who won the division last year? The Buccaneers. Always slept on, always not given the love. It's insane. It's very upsetting to me, but you don't ever seem to care about that. Commanders aren't on your schedule. Are you sad about that?
Not really sad, but I feel like we'll meet up at some point. some point in the season. If everybody, they side, do what they supposed to do. Bobby keep them in line, getting where they supposed to be, and I do what I'm supposed to do over here, and get us where we're supposed to be. Hopefully, we'll meet up again. Obviously, that first round playoff game was very, very heartbreaking for me because I felt like, me and a bunch of other guys, we felt like we could have done it. We had the team to do it, but we didn't get the job done. So the chance to get another opportunity, play another season to get back to that point, we're very much looking forward to it. You
and Bobby, those week one and in the playoffs, of course. Can you explain to someone who's just been such a fan of you two and Luke?
Yeah.
How special? I know you don't play each other, but you know what I'm saying. How special are those moments, those games?
Those moments. The moments are very special because me and Bobby personally, we developed a relationship way when we started this process. We developed a relationship coming out for the Senior Bowl. We were roommates in the Senior Bowl, and from that point on, we kept close contact and just kind of watched each other and just encouraged each other. The thing is about us, we competitors at nature, we competitors at heart, whatever, but we root for each other's success. I'm proud of the things that he's done, not only on the field, but off the field. He kind of gave me some advice and things like that as far as off the field things and vice versa. Every time we see each other, we embrace each other. We text each other, before the season starts, we text each other during, around this time, see how we're doing, working out, how we feeling and stuff like that. So, that relationship, is amazing. And then Luke, Luke just being Luke, man, just watching Luke for a very long time. It's the way he is and the way he carries himself. Being able to reach out to him anytime that you want, get advice from him and things like that, it's pretty cool to see, pretty cool to have because, a lot of people in this profession, you kind of get caught up in just, this guy right here, I'm competing against this guy. But when you put all that aside and you know what you're capable of as far as, the body work that you put in and just develop relationships with those people, it's amazing. And I'm definitely proud of those guys, definitely wanted Luke to get in the Hall of Fame, his first try. But I'm sure he'll be in it the next one, and I'll definitely be there to support him. And then when Bobby gets in there too, I'll definitely be there to support. So that's the type of relationship we have, and I'm definitely proud of those guys and the success that they had and having throughout their journey through the league.
And then you.
And then me.
and then you. I mean, the fact that the three of you are like in the same draft class is actually wild to think about. Not only for like what you mean to your teams and the like you and Bobby, Super Bowl champions, all of that, but like just what you mean to the locker room, what you mean is as like men, as like examples for everyone. Like it's amazing. Yeah. It's so interesting to hear that you're surprised that you're here for 14 years. And I think that like there's a lot of gratitude in that because you understand, you don't take it for granted. You can look at Luke, walking like my question would be like for these young cats that are like, I mean, I'm just looking at just the numbers of like I was looking at, like I was going to just do the name game, like kids who were born when you were drafted or in high school this year. Like that's true. When you talk about these young cats in the league, what would you tell them is the reason you're here for 14 years? The one reason, whether it's something little in the workout room or a little tweak or a health thing or a mental thing, like why are you here 14 years in?
I think that the main thing for me is just being disciplined. And staying focused on the process, knowing, that I'm playing football and what I want to get out of it, so I know the sacrifice that I got to make to be great, and just being disciplined through all that, just putting all the small things aside and then focus on what matters, and that's playing the game of football. And when you play this game, you can't cheat the game. You can't cheat the game. You got to be on point in everything you do because when you cheat it, they catch up with you. And, when people see that, you'll be out the game just like that. How quick you could be out the league. The span of people in the league is very short, as we already know. But my whole thing was just staying disciplined and keeping the main thing. And that's playing football and perfecting my craft week in and week out and trying to be the best when I go out there.
When I was thinking about just your team, and I really do, I had a whole time on the call this morning with my staff, just like they're just so unheralded. Like they won a Super Bowl not long ago, 4 years ago. Like then I just feel like people sleep on them and people are looking at, and there's all these other sexy storylines. You're entering year 14 and I'm like, oh, he's got Baker. Baker's young. Baker's not like that young anymore. He's entering year 8, I think. Like he's got this, it's his third year with the Bucs. What is his energy like maybe now, even at OTAs, even now, as opposed to when he first got on that team? Like I'd love to understand. I know everyone wants to run through a wall for him. I know that he's, a gamer. I know all of that. Like, how have you watched him sort of grow in these 3 years?
Oh man, I love it. When Baker first walked in the locker room, he was very embracing, to everybody because like I kind of like feel like he put himself as a young guy again, coming in and learning from all these vets that's around, like guys like me, Mike, Chris, Will Golston, some other older guys that we had on the team. And he just came in and just kind of like looked like he just took a seat back and just kind of learned from us to learn how to do things. And all we wanted for him to do was just go out there and have fun and just be him. And that's what he's been doing. You don't see Bate doing a lot of talking and doing a lot of different things. Only in the media when he's asked to be in the media because obviously he's the quarterback. But all he does is just go out there and have fun, man. And that's all we want him to do. And you see it. And when he out there having fun, he's putting up all pro caliber numbers. And he made the Pro Bowl 2 years in a row. So it's just amazing to see. And just the person that he is, family man, just embracing the community and everybody loving him and just doing all his community work and things like that. It's just incredible to see, man. He's definitely outside looking in. Obviously I didn't know Bake when he first got into the league and how everybody, looked at him and stuff like that. I always thought outside looking at before I knew him, I thought he was one of those prima donna guys who loves the media and stuff like that. But, he's the complete opposite, man. And we got a great relationship. He's definitely a humble guy, hardworking guy. He want to be great. He want to be the greatest. A guy who's full of grit and just want to grind and just want to win football games and have fun doing it. That's what you want to have as a quarterback, and he's definitely doing it.
I'm so curious, like, how do you think he did it? Because sometimes I think people, and I would say, like, he's got, like, bravado. Like, he did his whole college career, and then, like, people want to make of that what they will. And there has been, like, a change. How hard is it for him to do that? Do you think it's, like, when he has to go in front of the cameras, does he have to, like, be disciplined to not let it rip? Because that's also, like, part of his game. It's what makes me like him as a player. But do you think it's hard for him to not stunt on everybody, I guess is what I'm asking.
I think it's hard for him not to. I think it's hard for him not to. I'm sure a couple times it may have slipped up, like this for my haters out there. I'm sure he want to say some stuff like that, and I'll back him up with it too, because he did get a lot of doubt. He get a lot of doubt a lot right now to this day. A lot of people still doubt him, and he's proven those doubters wrong. And I got his back no matter what, man. Everybody want to, come to Baker, you got to come through me. You know what I'm saying?
I hear that a lot. Even like I was at the rookie premiere. I don't know if have you met Tez Johnson yet?
Not really. I think I probably ran across him one time.
I mean, you might step on him. He's amazing. He's so fun. Yeah. But I think he met Baker for 12 seconds and he sat with me and he was going on and on about how he would, you want to get to Baker. He was saying the same thing. Like, and how much does that have to do with obviously how he carries himself, and everybody wants to protect their quarterback, but truly, I don't see many quarterbacks throwing blocks like Baker. How much does that affect, like the grit, how much does that affect this team's success?
I think it does. I think it has a lot to do with it because you don't see quarterbacks doing things big. Sometimes it's a little scary with seeing him doing and stuff like that. But at the same time, that's him. He's a football player. You know what I'm saying? He's a quarterback and he's a football player. And that's what we love about it. I done caught myself plenty of times this past season of standing up, watching Bate, spin move, miss, break a guy down. And, like that game against Detroit, I was standing up watching that. It was another game. I want to say maybe it was against the Chargers, and then there's the game in the playoffs against the Saints too, and then against Washington. The plays that he made was, kind of incredible to see. And I'm up there. I almost ran on the field to celebrate with him. I remember Bo was telling me to get back and things like that. That's how excited I was, man. It just that grind that he brings to the game from that position. You know what I'm saying? Like he played quarterback like a linebacker. I think that's what it is. That's why I like it.
Yeah, I think he plays quarterback like a linebacker is everything. And it's so true. Right. One last one for you before we let you go. I mentioned it at the top. I like the Bengals. I want them to be successful. Their defense needs help. The latest this morning, Ben Baby of ESPN is saying that Trey Hendrickson is dug in with the contract talks. He wants what he wants. I want to just ask you, not the money part of it. When you watch Trey, who obviously had 17 and a half sacks, he's done that twice. What stands out about him? I think there's a notion that like he's not that special of a player. It's an anomaly season, whatever. What do you see about Trey? Yeah, see, I like that face. Talk to me about Trey.
I'm a football fan. I watch football. I watch the game, and I've been watching him since he was in New Orleans. So I know what he brings to the table, and it's his consistency, play in and play out. You know what you're going to get from him, play in and play out, and he's going to dominate every time. He had double sack seasons, for a reason. Just so happened to be the season that he did get, 17 and a half sacks and lead the league. But I just think it's not as flashy, and he's not a flashy guy. And I think that's what the issue might be. Some people get caught up in like the looks of a person and things like that, but instead of the production that the guy is bringing on the field. And with his production, he deserves to get whatever he's asking for. And I feel like he's a consistent player. And I feel like, he's still going, bring those sacks and those pressures that the team need. And he's going to continue to be a key player for them. Because I just remember when he was playing with the Saints, man, he was dominating us as a rookie.
Yeah.
Dominating, making plays, creating havoc and things like that. And he's still doing it right now to this day. So that's the main thing for me. If you see a guy who's consistently improving, I think you should give him what he's due.
And he's in his prime right now. To have Lavonte David say that you remember him dominating on those teams, those Saints teams, those early teams. He's playing even better right now.
It hurt for me to say that. But yeah, I got.
I'm worried for what the defense will look like without him. I'm just worried for if they were not great with him crushing it. Basically, we need to get him paid. Also, I would like Bengals, to listen to this. You just talked about how meaningful it was that you felt wanted.
Yeah,
that's what I heard in the beginning of this.
Yeah.
Like Jason Light wanted you. They wanted to get the deal done. That matters. Like that matters for a fast start, for how you feel, for your mental. Like, let's get it done. Okay. Appreciate you so much. Congrats on keeping the playoff streak alive. But we got to punch it through this year. Is this the year? Let's go.
It's the year, man. It's the year for sure. I believe it. I believe all the guys in our locker room, and believe like we're gonna get it done. We just got to put the work in, and at the end of the season, we'll look up and see. Hopefully, be holding that trophy.
Yeah. See you, Bobby Wagner. We got to get you another ring before you hit the Hall of Fame. I think you're top 10 and you're an absolute monster. It doesn't make sense that you're such like a wonderful, smiley human with what you look like on the field, but I'll always love that. Right. Lavonte David, always an honor to talk to you.
Thank you, Kay. Appreciate you for having me.
Thank you. Future Hall of Famer Lavonte David on the program. Marcedes Lewis, year 20. Let's let the bidding start here. Chicago, can I hear 2-year deal? Los Angeles Rams, going once, going twice. We'll be back. What is Lavonte like? What is he all-time tackles? Hey, Chat GPT producers. 8th all-time tackles. Bobby is 4th. I know, but Lavonte should be in the Hall of Fame. I wanted to ask him, like, what is the one thing that he feels like is different this year? Because it's such an accomplishment to go to the playoffs 5 years in a row. No other team in the NFC has done it, but also you got to punch through. How are we getting through? They don't get enough credit for staying successful post Brady. Love them. Love Jason Light. You see how people talk about Jason Light? That is like not your everyday GM. And it is true. Like with literally what Jamar said. What Jamar said about I wasn't feeling myself because the deal wasn't done, and his numbers bear it out for the first couple games of the season. Like Trey Hendrickson, same vibe. Get it done. Okay, let's see. Do we have any questions? I'm excited to talk to Marcedes. Who retires first, Marcedes or Aaron Rodgers? I don't know. I'm going to guess Aaron Rodgers. Here's some questions. The O-lineman thing, what is this? Did she win in backgammon? I learned how to play backgammon this weekend. I did. I don't get it. Why do the lamest games, sorry to call it lame, why do the lamest games withstand the test of time? Tic-tac-toe, perfect example. Lame game, but it's been around. Backgammon, I heard, was that somebody, Chat GPT this, is it like the oldest game of all time? I think it's I think they would like founded in Egypt, in Cairo, like back in the day. No joke. 5,000 years. It's the oldest game. And it's just rolling dice for what? It doesn't make any sense. Mesopotamia. Taking it back. I enjoyed it. It was fine. It reminded me of Lost when John Locke does the good and, whatever. It was fine. Did I win? I think I won the first game and then a match or round or whatever. There's too much like verbiage in it. It's too much. I didn't love it. I'd rather play Sorry or Trouble or something. The actual GOAT board games. My favorite game day snacks? I don't even know. It's not game day. Chips and salsa. I can eat my body weight in chips and salsa like I did this weekend in Mexico. All right.
Gets it away, and Lewis with a touchdown for Green Bay.
Lewis caught it, great adjustment. Touchdown. He's got it.
That was the best catch you'll ever see.
What a catch. Lewis again.
That must have been real hard for the editors to put together, Marcedes, because there's a lot of games, a lot of plays, a lot of seasons to choose from. Do you know that you have played the most games in NFL history at the tight end position?
Yeah, I think the last 2 or 3 years I've kind of been keeping track of it. I want to say before that, it was never really on my radar. And I think, just personnel and teammates started making me aware of it. So it's pretty cool for real.
Cool. Congratulations on that. And it's good to see you. Happy belated birthday.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. Entering 20. Where does your head go when I say, I was just talking to Lavonte David. He's like 14. I can't believe it. Year 20. Where does your head go?
Consistency, hard work. Obviously, there's a little luck that plays into it as far as, I've never had any major injuries, knock on wood, no surgeries. And so I'm just grateful to be in this moment and, always being present. I think that's what's kept me mentally locked in, and I still love the game. And it's just a real beautiful thing. Obviously, as a kid, you want to make it to the NFL. And obviously if you work hard enough and you just stick to it, you're able to do these type of things. And I don't know. I feel like sometimes I'm on borrowed time, and I don't even like to think about it much, to be honest, because I don't want to jinx myself. But I can tell. Truly grateful.
We had Deshaun Jackson on the show earlier this week, your old Long Beach Poly pal, and he loves you. Obviously, what stuck out to me that he was saying was he just can't believe that you're still playing. And it's not a health, not a luck thing, just the grind of it. He goes just the way you play, Marcedes, like you're out there blocking and it's over and over. And like, we see it, like you look just as good as you did 20 years ago for Chicago, Lester. But like he was saying, like the grind, how can you love the game so much? That stuck out to me. So how can you love the game so much?
Man, first of all, I appreciate that. I think one of the coolest things about playing this sport or any just professional sport in general is earning the respect of your peers. And, some of the closest relationships I have come from playing this game, whether it's on the field or off the field. And, for me, retirement was just never the goal, if that makes sense. Like once you're here and if you can put in the work, I'm going to go until my body is like, hey, all right, bro, it's time to hang it up, and, I'm just obviously not at that point yet. When I wake up in the morning, I still love the game. And I think that's what kind of gives me purpose in this thing. When I'm done playing, I ever want to look back and like, man, I wish I could have did that. Like, I wish I could have played one more year. Or, I'm sitting on the couch with my boys watching games and it's like, man, I could have did this. No, but when I'm done, obviously I want to get this 20th season and then retire. When I'm done, I'll be able to watch the game and be grateful and happy that I was able to give it all I had and I didn't have anything left. And, part of that kind of fuels my purpose and showing people that it can be done if you just work hard enough.
It's beautifully said. So it's 20 and done. This is your last year?
Yeah, I think mentally I'm going into it saying this is my last year. Obviously blessed to have had 19 amazing years, and the journey has been great. Obviously being in Jacksonville for 12, learned a lot, not just about football and being a really good football player, but a really good person too. Like, it was so much adversity that I faced in Jacksonville year in and year out, with as much turnover as we had there, trying to build teams so that we can, compete, not just in our division, but, in the league in general, with it being an expansion team and all of that. So, so many lessons along the way. And I think that kind of sharpened my tools and got me ready for what I was able to experience in Green Bay. And, in some ways, I felt like I was reinvigorated and rejuvenated in Green Bay. It's almost as if I got drafted in Green Bay. That's how the people accepted me and took me in as if I was one of theirs. And, my 5 years there were some of the best years of my life. And I don't know if it's maybe because I went into it with it being my, 13th, 14th year, or was it just experience, or both of them combined? But it just felt really good. And I'll never forget those, those years that I spent in Green Bay. And, fast forward to Chicago, that offseason after I, left Green Bay, there was no question in my mind that I want to play. It was just about where. And when you get older, a little older in the tooth, you want to play with, coaches that you've either played for before, or teammates that you've either played with. And, I was fortunate enough. Luke Getsy was there. He was in Green Bay when I was in Green Bay. So he understands my style of play, the scheme in which I'm able to thrive under. And, they were running the same scheme in Chicago. So that's why I chose Chicago, 3 years ago to do that. And, spent 2 years there and still playing almost 30% of the plays now. And it's not as if like I'm just this old guy and I can't stay healthy. I think I'm like 18 games in 19 years. Like, that's, durable. I'm still doing my thing. I still practice. I'm still a student. I'm learning. I'm not in meetings acting as if I know it all. I think that's kind of what keeps me locked in and my seatbelt on. And I'm just grateful to have that type of growth mindset about my work. I mean, that's the reason why I'm here.
It's so beautifully said. And you answered a lot of my questions I had from you when I woke up this morning, knowing that I was going to talk to you. I want to know if you were going to do 20 and done. I don't love that you're closing the door on that, but I think it's like such an achievement. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful bookend, but it puts pressure, my man, on where are we going this year? And I think you have a lot of agency. I think you're an attractive candidate for all the reasons you're saying. You're not you're durable. I was watching your shit from Chicago. You are in it. You are they want you back. I'm sure they're going to figure that out. But now you're saying your priorities are what are the priorities for year 20? Being it that it's such a huge year. You said a coach you've played for. You really are speaking very beautifully about Green Bay. And I might love to see it. They've got 2 young tight ends. You have familiarity with LaFleur. Would you welcome a return to Lambeau?
Well, it's funny that you say that. I know that, that last year when I was there, it was close. They were close to bringing me back for another year before I signed with Chicago. But the direction that they were going was going to be young. And, obviously Matt is one of my best friends now. He FaceTimed me last week and we were kind of talking about it. And it's really out of his hands, and I understand the business side of it. I think that's another reason, if you can kind of compartmentalize what you do well, understanding that this game is still a business and it's not necessarily personal, you'll always get the best out of yourself. And I've been able to understand that since I was in Jacksonville, and, never necessarily let my feelings get in the way of the work that I put in. And the work always will show in the film. And that's really what I have complete control over, is my attitude, my effort, regardless of where I am. And, it's just one of those things. I feel like it ended a little too soon in Green Bay. Obviously, guys were leaving. A-Rod left, Cobby. There was just guys just leaving from that team. My boy Lavonte was going to Oakland and Vegas. So it was just a lot going on. And I think, being in Chicago, it's one of those situations, from the outside looking in, you would think that it's just a lot of disarray within the building because Chicago hasn't been able to win, too many games over the last several years. But from top to bottom is one of the better organizations that, I've, been a part of and been able to experience as far as the energy and It felt good to go to work there. And obviously the last 2 years, I understand, how it's ran over there. And, I have some friends on that team now that I've been able to connect with over the last couple of years. And, I just, I don't want to bookend myself or kind of put myself in a box.
Understood.
I'm open to whoever understands my value and understands that I'm not just a guy that, older guy that's going to wear a jersey and be a rah-rah guy just because naturally I lead in a way from the front and I do it with my work and by example. We get that, but I still can play too. So it's just really all about where you're valued. And, I'm, grateful for the opportunity, whatever pops up. And if there's a market for a 41-year-old tight end that still has a lot to give to the game. And obviously the leadership part is going to be there. And, it's always been there, but, I'm anxious and biting at the bit to get at it too on the field. So
I like what we're doing here. We're saying, hey, NFC North, oldest rivalry in the freaking game, 100+ year rivalry. Bears, Packers, fight for me. Who wants me?
Yeah.
I think you have value to both. I'm going to root for the Green Bay part, but I know that I heard you said like you're open to going to Chicago. You're talking about you liked going to work there. You liked the energy there. There is a regime change. Are we into that? Like, are we, because, you want the coaching, you want to go to a contender. I think it'd mean a lot to Chicago fans that you want to be there because it must mean that you see them that way. What worked really well for you in Chicago?
I think, first and foremost, my tight end coach, Jim Dre, who played in the league for a while. And I think he just does a really good job of getting us prepared. And just that energy of a guy who's played the game and understands the different aspects of what it means to play tight end. And, obviously Cole Kmet and being there with him, we've developed a really close relationship. I'm actually going to his wedding in a couple weeks.
Oh.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that I kind of see a lot of the things that I was going through in my career early on. In his career, it's kind of mirrored. And he's a guy that, going to put his face in there and block you. He's tough. He plays through being hurt, injuries like I did. And he's just a guy that's about ball. And so that relationship right there kind of set the tone for what it was going to be like there. And me being on side of him and watching him develop his game into what he's going to be, it's been kind of a joy for me too, right? Like it's almost like a player coach type thing because I'm on the field obviously competing with him, but I'm also coming from a vantage point of like, this is just special that I've been able to play long enough in this league to watch guys live out their dream as well and like see it from a different view. And I think that's given me the genuine appreciation for this game and help, kind of gas up my purpose too. Like it makes me play harder. I wake up in the morning knowing that my purpose is more than just putting on a jersey, right? It's giving back. And, when I'm done playing this game, like I can't take all of this knowledge with me. Being able to give it back has been something that really has filled my cup. And that kind of correlates to me going out there and making sure I give them everything that I have. And when they turn on the film, they know what Big Dog is going to be. And being accountable and leading from the front is what it's always been about. And that's
now I'm like convinced you'll be back in Chicago because you've got obviously Cole Kmet. You love you're going to his wedding, but Colston Loveland, also young, could use you to teach him how to block. Not really a big part of his game. You're the best there is. So Ben Johnson loves himself a 2 tight end set. I could see that working a little bit. Have you talked to him at all? No FaceTime is from Ben Johnson?
Not yet. I mean, I haven't talked to Ben Johnson. Obviously, I'm pretty close with management there, and we've had small talk here and there, and the door is not closed yet. And so for me, hearing that, like it's cool. Like I'm grateful that that's what the case is, but I can't necessarily hang my hat on it, right? Like things happen in this league all the time, and for me, it's just about being in the best shape that I can be in. So when my number does get called, I'm ready to step right in and plug and play like I always have been. obviously watching Ben Johnson from afar, I've been a fan and seeing what he's been able to do, especially with the Lions and making sure those guys are in positions to make plays and drawing up schemes to best utilize the people on his team. And I feel like, that's something that, if you're not even just a young player, but an old player, you're excited about because you know that you're not going to be wasted, right? Like as an athlete, you just want to be out there and be your best. And it's already hard enough to play this game when everything goes right, right? Like you got people on the other side that want to tear your head off. And so with that being said, like you just want to be able to focus in on your job and doing your job. And if you got a coach with the mind of Ben Johnson is going to come in and make sure that he's putting you in spots to be successful, you can just go out there and worry about just playing your game. And so obviously it's something that would be cool to be a part of. And we'll see what happens. Like I'm one of those people that I'm very present all the time. And right now it's just about working out. I'm a free agent right now. And then, hopefully when that opportunity does come, I'll be able to just shift my mindset on whatever it is that I'm going to be doing. But I've always been able to give my personal best because I live like I'm on a one-day contract. Like if I don't give my absolute best at whatever it is that I'm doing in that day, I can't renew my contract for the next day. And so that pressure in itself holds me accountable and keeps me 10 toes down.
You are where your feet are, and that's how, like, anybody has a question about how you made it to year 20, that's how. You didn't take it for granted. You worked your ass off, and you're still playing at a really high level somehow. I don't know how, like, you're probably an alien or, doing some crazy ayahuasca and stuff with our boy Aaron, but that's for another day. Okay, you were in Chicago. You like Chicago. I love that. I'm from Chicago. I know the energy of that city. I know what they think they deserve. I know that they can be rational and irrational. Where does the Caleb fit into this? Because you're such a professional. You even just said player coach. When you're reading this ESPN headlines from Seth Wickersham's book about Caleb being left alone to study film, what was your reaction to that?
Kind of disappointed. I feel like, you draft a guy, #1 overall, with that kind of talent. You're essentially giving him the keys to your organization. I just feel, there's a responsibility there to make sure, obviously, one, coaching, but teaching, right? And making sure that this player has everything that he needs to develop in a way that you leave nothing unturned, right? And, reading that, I know if that was me, I got drafted at number 28, in the first round, and I still needed that, right? Like I still needed guidance and direction to kind of develop in ways so that the nuances of the game came easy to me, right? The game started to get slower to me really fast because of my habits, right? And things that I was able to learn from my tight end coach and a few really awesome veterans that I was able to attach to. And obviously, it's not too late, but it's still. I didn't like reading that or hearing that per se.
Was that something that you knew was going on? Like what? Like I don't even understand how that would work. Like, were you surprised by that? I'm sure you made yourself available to Caleb.
Yeah, no, I was definitely surprised by it, and I think, how it works around the building. Like you're in your position groups the most, right? So. You don't necessarily like you see each other in passing, you get in the locker room, you mix it up in the locker room, and obviously in practice you're going at it, but you spend the most time with your position coach in your room and with your group. And so definitely, we didn't notice that it was happening, but now that I think guys are aware of it, obviously in that building, like it's not going to repeat itself for sure. And Caleb and I have developed a really good relationship over this last year. Like we spent holidays together during the season, and we hung out here, obviously in LA. And he's a guy that wants to be great. He's a guy that can admit that he doesn't know it all. And part of it is, what I told him is, in most situations, not just football, you have to learn how to become an active listener, right? Like. You played this game for as long as you have. Like there's a certain amount of knowledge that you think that you do have, but there's so much more if you're able to just open up your mind and just be an active listener, and not necessarily think you have all the answers. But even if you do have the answer, just sometimes sit back, listen. You'll learn more that way. And that's something that we kind of harped on a little bit together. And me talking to him about that kind of holds me accountable to do the same, because I feel like in this world in general, not just sports, but in this life, and being able to connect with people and connect with things around you, being an active listener is super important. And I think that's going to be essential to take his game to the next level.
Yeah, and this is someone who's, he is younger than you. And like, I'm sure he goes to you. And like his idol happens to be a good friend of yours, a former teammate of yours who made, I'm sure, Green Bay special for you and Aaron Rodgers. What did Caleb ask you about Aaron just all the time? What was he asking you about him?
It's more so not necessarily direct questions, but more so like you could just tell that's his favorite guy. So sometimes if I'm having a conversation with DJ or Keenan, I'll see Caleb, because Caleb locker is like was 2 lockers away from mine, and I'll see him kind of like navigating or kind of migrating towards where we were talking about it. But more so just A-Rod's play style, his mindset, his ability to take over games, and just his demeanor, right? And how he was able to lead. And obviously I could definitely speak to that, because that's the thread in which A-Rod and I kind of connected and became really good friends. It was just how we come to work, right? And no matter how you look at it in professional sports, especially in football, because there's so many guys, your value is it hinges on how you come to work, right?
Yeah.
And how are you in meetings? Do you take notes? Are you on time? Are you early? Do you stay late? Like that right there alone sets the tone for your relationships and your friendships in this league. And, guys like Lavonte Adams, Aaron Rodgers, Dave Bakhtiari, and Randall Cobb, just true professionals. And it was easy when I got there for me to fit in a way to where I didn't have to try. All I had to do was be myself, because I'm already that type of workload or that type of work and professionalism I'm already attached to. So
it worked. I have like 12 seconds. I have like 19 other questions. I really have like 12 seconds. Have you and Aaron quickly, have you guys talked about playing together again?
It's always been something that A-Rod would bring up. Even when we were in Green Bay, he's like, hey, we got to retire together.
Have you talked about playing with the Steelers?
Nah, we haven't talked about playing with the Steelers, no.
We got to get that FaceTime going. I can't wait to see where you play. This was such an incredibly insightful conversation. Good luck. Enjoy the vibes. I mean, Deshaun, by the way, is like, no, he's playing for the Rams. He's not playing anywhere. I want you to play in Green Bay. Get your butt to Green Bay.
Man, it's for me, like I told you earlier, it's just whoever values me and respects me and knows my skill set and able to put me in positions to actually like play and not just be a guy on the sideline thinking that I'm just an older guy.
No, you're a badass, and I don't even know how you fucking do it. So I'm sorry, I just swore. We are done with our show. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
Marcedes, thank you. Bye, babe.
I don't know what show this is, but I'd watch it.
I'd watch it.
I wouldn't.
That was a calendar. That feels like a February.